Hey everybody, Tchadas Leo here, host of Our Native Land through Czech Podcast Studios in Victoria, British Columbia. You have arrived at another preview video for next week's episode of the show. I'm going to be interviewing Paul Natral. He is the owner and operator of Mr.Bannock. It is an Indigenous food truck on the North Shore on the mainland. He has fantastic food and he is doing everything he can to revitalize and educate everybody about Indigenous cuisine. Let's take a small look at our conversation. Speaking about feeding the souls and the minds, it kind of ties into something I was, you've been featured in quite a few articles, is your idea of using your food to show the importance of, Indigenous culture, and even in a sense to help with the idea of working and feeling, how do I say it, to help along the idea of reconciliation through Indigenous food. So tell me a bit about how you feel about your food and what you think it's making a difference for people.
Yeah, I think it's so important because with everything that just happened recently about all the kids in residential schools across the country, like my heart goes out to all our communities there, right?
Of
But
course.
with all that happening, like we weren't able to practice like our food culture and have all of our ceremonies and gatherings like we normally would, right? So sadly, like some of that got lost, or like you just weren't able to practice and have it and like expand on that, right? Because you look at all these other cuisines, they're some of them are evolved into some of the best in the world, right? But hopefully like me and some of these other big chefs that are doing what we're doing, like we can get to that level again, you know. And like for me, I just want to showcase the some of the ancient cooking methods, like the clay baking, the stone baking, the smoking, the curing and the canning and stuff like that, right? Pickling, and just really showcasing those traditional ingredients, right? So being on the West Coast here, like there's a lot of seafood, there's a lot of root veg, squash, beets, turnips, and then you go into all the berries and all that, right? Strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and all that kind of stuff, you
Yeah.
know.
That brings me back
So
to my
there's
childhood. I just can picture myself going to pickle those and eating them before I get home. I don't even have anything left in the basket.
That's awesome, man. That that's definitely one of the memories like I was super fond of when I was younger. Just like going out to pick blackberries for my grandmothers, right?
hmm
Uh Back in the day, like there was so many blackberry bushes like everywhere,
hmm
right? Being in the big city in Vancouver now, there's not many blackberry bushes that you can go do that, but
hmm
I remember getting like 3 or 4 buckets like in a day,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah,
know you'd always find that one bush that was like you find and you have a couple. I'm like, it's so juicy. I'm like, I found
yeah,
the perfect one, and you just empty it out. Like I don't even care if it's here next year. I'm taking it, right?
yeah. Just finding the big juicy one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, totally, man.
Like, oh yeah. I just remember the like having a competition with my sisters and my cousins of every year who would find the biggest juiciest one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And that ties into like the, Bannock again, right? Like that's one of the best things that I think we as Indigenous people have adapted to. Like, how do we, continue the culinary experience for us and for people is just, spreading different things on Bannock and have those fresh berries and put it on that fried bread that, your mom or your grandmother made. It's like the best breakfast, lunch, or dinner you can have, right? There you have it, just a small clip of my conversation with Paul Natral, the owner and operator of Mr.Bannock Food Truck out on the mainland. If you want to support him, the easiest thing to do is go to Mr.Bannock.com right away. When you get to the website, it's going to offer to download his app where you can buy other products from him, including coffee and among other things. So check out Mr.Bannock.com and Paul Natral, and check out the episode, which is coming out this Monday, wherever you get your podcast, right in the morning. And we'll also air the full episode on our YouTube channel at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And don't forget, if you got an Apple product, to rate the show and write a review. We appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for listening, watching, and supporting Our Native Land.